The spreadsheets, the apps, the digital food scales, the meticulously logged meals down to the last gram. Millions of people have turned calorie tracking into a daily ritual, documenting every bite they consume with the precision of a laboratory experiment. The results speak for themselves. Reddit is flooded with transformation posts from people who lost 50, 70, even 100 pounds by maintaining strict calorie deficits between 1200 and 1500 calories per day. MyFitnessPal reports over 200 million users worldwide, with many crediting the app for their dramatic weight loss success. The approach seems almost mathematical in its simplicity. Create a deficit of 500 to 1000 calories per day, track everything you eat, and watch the pounds disappear at a predictable rate. Social media is filled with screenshots of food diaries, before and after photos, and detailed accounts of how precise calorie tracking transformed not just bodies, but entire relationships with food. However, behind these success stories lies a more complex reality about what happens when you reduce your daily intake to these levels and maintain such aggressive deficits for extended periods. The psychological, metabolic, and social implications of strict calorie tracking go far beyond the numbers displayed on smartphone screens, and understanding these factors is crucial for anyone considering this approach to weight loss. The mathematical foundation of calorie deficit tracking appears straightforward and has been repeated countless times across fitness forums and weight loss communities. 1 pound of fat contains approximately 3,500 calories, so creating a deficit of 500 calories per day should theoretically result in 1 pound of weight loss per week. A deficit of 1,000 calories per day should produce 2 pounds of weekly loss. This simple equation has driven millions of people to meticulously track their food intake using apps like MyFitnessPal, Lose It, and Chronometer. The precision these apps offer is remarkable. Users can scan barcodes, weigh ingredients to the gram, and access databases containing millions of food items with detailed nutritional information. The ability to see exactly how many calories you've consumed versus how many you've burned through exercise creates a sense of control that many people find empowering after years of failed diet attempts. However, the reality of how your body responds to sustained calorie restriction is far more complex than this simple mathematical model suggests. Your metabolism isn't a static number that remains constant regardless of how much you eat. When you consistently consume 1200 to 1500 calories per day, your body begins adapting within days to preserve energy and protect against what it perceives as starvation. These adaptations include reductions in metabolic rate, changes in hormone production, and alterations in cellular efficiency that can persist long after you return to normal eating patterns. The psychological experience of maintaining such precise calorie tracking varies dramatically among individuals, but certain patterns emerge consistently across different personalities and backgrounds. Many people report an initial sense of empowerment and control when they begin tracking calories. The ability to see exactly what they're eating and how it impacts their weight provides clarity that feels refreshing after years of unsuccessful dieting attempts. The immediate feedback loop between food choices and caloric intake can help people identify hidden sources of calories and make more informed decisions about portion sizes and food selection. However, this sense of control can gradually evolve into something more obsessive and restrictive for many users. The constant mental calculation of calories throughout the day can become exhausting and intrusive. Some people find themselves declining social invitations because they can't accurately track the calories in restaurant meals or home cooked dishes prepared by others. The pressure to stay within the designated calorie range can create anxiety around food choices and lead to feelings of guilt or failure when targets are exceeded. Research has shown that for some individuals, particularly those with predispositions to eating disorders, intensive calorie tracking can trigger or exacerbate disordered eating patterns. The restriction inherent in maintaining 1200 to 1500 calorie diets can lead to binge eating episodes when willpower inevitably falters, creating a cycle of restriction and overeating that becomes increasingly difficult to break. The metabolic adaptations that occur during prolonged calorie restriction are among the most significant and underestimated aspects of aggressive deficit approaches. When you consistently eat 1200 to 1500 calories per day, your body interprets this as a threat to survival and initiates a complex series of hormonal and cellular changes designed to conserve energy. Your basal metabolic rate, which represents the calories your body burns at rest, can decrease by 15 to 20% within just a few weeks of calorie restriction. This means that someone whose metabolism previously burned 1800 calories per day might only burn 1500 calories per day after several weeks of dieting, effectively eliminating much of the intended calorie deficit. Thyroid hormone production decreases, reducing the rate at which your cells burn energy. Cortisol levels often increase, promoting fat storage and muscle breakdown. Leptin, the hormone that signals fullness and satiety, decreases significantly, while ghrelin, the hunger hormone, increases. These changes create a perfect storm of increased hunger, reduced metabolism, and enhanced fat storage that can persist for months or even years after returning to normal eating patterns. Studies have shown that contestants from The Biggest Loser, who lost massive amounts of weight through extreme calorie restriction and exercise, maintained significantly reduced metabolic rates 6 years after the show ended, making weight maintenance extraordinarily difficult despite their best efforts to maintain healthy eating and exercise habits. The social and lifestyle implications of maintaining strict calorie tracking often prove more challenging than the physical aspects of eating less food. Modern social interactions frequently revolve around food, from business lunches to family gatherings to casual meetups with friends. When you're trying to stay within a specific calorie range, these situations become complicated and stressful. Restaurant meals become exercises in estimation and anxiety rather than enjoyable social experiences. Family dinners require detailed questioning about ingredients and preparation methods that can feel intrusive and obsessive to others. Many people report feeling isolated from their social circles as they decline invitations or become the person who brings their own food to gatherings. The time investment required for accurate calorie tracking is also substantial and often underestimated by newcomers to the practice. Weighing ingredients, scanning barcodes, and logging meals can add 30 to 60 minutes to daily food preparation and consumption. For people with busy lifestyles or complex family situations, this additional time burden can become overwhelming and unsustainable. The mental energy required to constantly think about and calculate calories can also be exhausting, leaving less cognitive capacity for other important life activities and decisions. Despite these challenges, many people do achieve significant and lasting weight loss through calorie deficit tracking, particularly when they approach it strategically and maintain awareness of the potential pitfalls. The most successful practitioners tend to view calorie tracking as a temporary educational tool rather than a permanent lifestyle requirement. They use the detailed information about their eating patterns to identify habits and triggers that contributed to weight gain, then gradually transition to more intuitive eating approaches while maintaining their weight loss. Successful calorie trackers also tend to set more moderate deficits of 300 to 500 calories per day, rather than the more aggressive deficits that can trigger severe metabolic adaptations. They prioritize food quality alongside quantity, ensuring that their limited calories come from nutrient-dense sources that support satiety and overall health. Many successful practitioners also incorporate regular diet breaks or refeed days where they eat at maintenance calories to help reset hormonal adaptations and provide psychological relief from constant restriction. The most sustainable approaches often involve cycling between periods of moderate calorie restriction and periods of maintenance eating, allowing for continued progress while minimizing the negative adaptations associated with prolonged restriction. The accuracy of calorie tracking itself presents another significant challenge that many users underestimate. Studies have shown that even trained dietitians consistently underestimate calorie intake by 10 to 20% when tracking their food consumption. For untrained individuals, the margin of error can be even larger, particularly when estimating portion sizes or calculating calories in mixed dishes and restaurant meals. Food labels are also allowed to have up to 20% variation from stated values, meaning that a product labeled as containing 100 calories could actually contain anywhere from 80 to 120 calories. Cooking methods, food preparation, and individual variations in metabolism and absorption all introduce additional variables that make precise calorie tracking more of an approximation than an exact science. These accuracy issues become particularly problematic when people are trying to maintain very small calorie deficits or when they plateau in their weight loss despite believing they're maintaining their intended deficit. The psychological investment in the precision of tracking can create frustration and confusion when the expected results don't materialize due to these inherent limitations in the accuracy of the data. For people who decide to pursue calorie deficit tracking despite these challenges, certain strategies can improve both effectiveness and sustainability. Setting calorie targets closer to 1500 to 1800 calories per day rather than the more aggressive 1200 to 1300 calorie ranges provides more flexibility and reduces the risk of severe metabolic adaptations. Focusing on weekly calorie averages rather than daily perfection allows for more flexibility in social situations while still maintaining the overall deficit needed for weight loss, including regular diet breaks every 6 to 8 weeks, where calories are increased to maintenance levels for 1 to 2 weeks, can help reset metabolic adaptations and provide psychological relief from constant restriction. Prioritizing protein intake at every meal helps preserve muscle mass during weight loss and provides better satiety per calorie compared to other macronutrients. Planning for social situations by reviewing restaurant menus in advance or eating a small meal before attending events can help maintain tracking accuracy without completely avoiding social food situations. The technology supporting calorie tracking continues to evolve, with newer apps offering more sophisticated features like AI-powered food recognition, integration with fitness trackers for more accurate calorie burn estimates, and social features that allow users to connect with others pursuing similar goals. However, technology alone cannot address the fundamental challenges associated with maintaining aggressive calorie deficits or the psychological implications of intensive food monitoring. The most effective use of these tools often involves viewing them as temporary educational resources rather than permanent lifestyle requirements. Many successful weight loss maintainers report using tracking apps intensively for several months to learn about portion sizes, macronutrient distribution, and their personal eating patterns, then transitioning to less intensive monitoring while applying the knowledge they gained. The goal shifts from precise daily tracking to developing sustainable eating habits that naturally maintain the energy balance needed for long-term weight management. The long-term success rates for maintaining weight loss achieved through strict calorie tracking are similar to other weight loss approaches, with most studies showing that 60 to 80% of lost weight is regained within 5 years. However, people who continue some form of self-monitoring, whether through periodic tracking, regular weigh-ins, or other awareness strategies, tend to maintain their losses more successfully than those who completely abandon all monitoring practices. The key appears to be finding a balance between maintaining awareness of eating patterns without falling into obsessive or restrictive behaviors that are unsustainable long term. Many successful maintainers develop personalized systems that combine periodic tracking with intuitive eating principles, using technology as a tool for awareness rather than strict control. Understanding both the potential benefits and significant limitations of calorie deficit tracking allows people to make informed decisions about whether this approach aligns with their personality, lifestyle, and long-term health goals, while setting realistic expectations about both the process and outcomes of this popular but challenging weight loss method.